I wasn't what was happening. I knew that. I knew I'd have that to come up against. And, our industry isn't great at seeing outliers.
No.
There are some special people in this industry with very good ears, and they really do see the next thing. But people don't typically, radio isn't, or whatever, it isn't really quick to adopt me when Nirvana's the biggest thing, or adopt whatever, Adele when whatever else is the biggest thing prior to that.
Well, at that time it was probably like Bush or,
yeah.
Like I'm trying to think who was late 90s big rock
It was
bands.
Catherine Wheel, it was Belly, it was Hole, it was Bush, it was Stone Temple Pilots, it was, and then real pop music, on the other side. But mostly, just all grunge, all rock. What happened was college radio, grassroots, relentless, nonstop, 3 hours of sleep a night, 1,000 shows a year for several years. And then I quit. We tried to get Who'll Save Your Soul going. We tried to get You're Meant for Me going. None of them worked. Finally, after, I'd say 2 years probably, all in, I started making a second album. And I was a little scrambling. I was starting to lose faith on my little hierarchical decision making. I was like, I don't know. I could write grunge. What do I need to do here? And then Bob Dylan wanted to tour with me. And so I put the record on hold, all my musicians. I'm like, let's take 2 weeks off. I'll be back in 2 weeks. And his tour manager was like, Mr. Dylan doesn't watch the opening act. He doesn't meet the opening act. And I was like, I get it. I'm here to do my shows. And as we've already, made clear, I don't like people talking when I sing. And so I would kick people out of shows. And so I did that at Dylan's shows. I would do everything I could. And then I would say, look, I'm right here. I hear you all talking. I'm alone on stage. Like, I get that you're not here to see me. I respect that. But if you want to talk, would you go out in the lobby? And I would wait. And if somebody wouldn't listen, I would stop and I would kick them out. Like, personally, you in the red shirt, you are invited to leave. And this was just what I'd always done. I didn't think a lot of it. But after about 5 nights, his tour manager came up to me and was like, Mr. Dylan has been watching your shows and he wants to meet you. And so I go down there and he's like, so, I hear you're kicking people out of my shows. And I was like, oh. I was like, yes, sir, I am. He loved it. He loved that I was this kid that was like, nope, get out. And it intrigued him and is what made him listen to my music. It wasn't even my music. It was that I was kicking people out. But he ended up mentoring me and really taking me under his wing. And I was really faltering at this time. And he was like, are you a folk singer? Are you a singer-songwriter? Do you have a choice? Because if you have a choice, maybe you're not. And maybe you should do something else. And I was like, yes, sir. I am a songwriter, sir. I am. And he was like, you may never be famous. I was like, no, sir. I may never not, sir. And he gave me books to read and music to listen to. And I just remember being like, you know what? If Bob Dylan is the only one that likes my music, we're done. Like, we're good.
They're done.
We're done. And he really encouraged me to keep going. And he was like, don't get a band. Stay solo acoustic. Stay with that record. It's who you are. You don't have a choice to be who you are. Like, it may not work, but are you or aren't you this? And then Neil Young took me out next. And a similar thing, I was opening for him at the Garden, solo acoustic, in front of Crazy Horse, like an epic, heavy band with Marshall staff. I don't know if everybody knows, like he had, amps up to the ceiling, like 30 feet high. And I was walking through this mutual space. He and I never really talked. And he goes, you look nervous. And I was like, I am nervous. He goes, why? And I was like, because you're Neil Young with Crazy Horse and I'm solo acoustic at Madison Square Garden. They're going to murder me. And he stuck his little shaky finger in my face. He goes, this is just another hash house on the road to success. You get out there and you show them no respect. And I was like, yes, sir. And did something unusual that night. I went out and I started with the quietest song. I have a song called Angel Standing By. It's all in a vibrato-less falsetto. Mm-hmm. It's quiet, a little aria, almost lullaby. And I went over where I'm supposed to go out onto his key stage. Took a long time for the spotlight to find me, which is good because it makes the whole audience be like, what's happening? Where is she going?
Yeah.
Why can't the spotlight find her? And then I sang so quiet that the whole room shushed itself because they couldn't hear me. And it worked. It freaking worked. And I felt like, a superpower human after that.